Now we all know that blanket's not going to hurt him, but he sure don't. He thinks it's going to eat him. So you got to give him a few minutes to kind of understand that it's going to be all right. That's his typical defense right there, is trying to run away from you. And each and every time he runs away, we correct it. We stop it. Go. Once he lets me put it up there, and I can kind of stand here with him, I'll let him relax. He just can't quite stand anything under his belly right now, and so we've got to work on that situation. You find all these touchy spots. See a lot of people that ride the horse all their life, and they'll say, well, you can't touch him here and you can't touch him there. The reason they can't is because the guy that started him probably didn't show him right off the bat that that's not acceptable. You know, that's not what we want. You got to show him that that's not what you want to do. Once he quits, I completely relax that Noavel. All right, we're going to try our saddle again. You never really let them get by with anything when you're starting them at this stage, because if you do, you pay for it later. Been to that spot before. Every time he sees it over there, it kind of bothers him. So we'll just have to take our time with it. That's farther than we've been, so we take a little at a time. Go. Everything you do to one at this stage, you go back and try to touch them in a spot you've already been touching them to show them that it's going to be all right before you move on to the next one. So that was what we was trying to do with that. When you're pulling your girth up on a coat like this, you always want to do it just as slow as you possibly can. And you want to see where you're going to go with it. But keep in mind, it probably won't stay there anyway for a few minutes, but it gradually will. One of the real important things you've got to remember when saddling a colt, a lot of people want to pick the worst saddle they got. when in fact they should pick the best one. Because if that saddle is not comfortable to that coat, it's not going to be a great thing for it. So you want to get a real good saddle, not a fancy saddle, a good saddle, a saddle that will fit a horse and will be okay for him. Because you want to be able to have it comfortable as can be. Sure, it's not going to like this a whole lot, but hey, we got it up there and we're trying to show him, hey, it's going to be all right. Like I say, when it starts moving, figures out it can't get rid of it, it's going to have a pretty good little fit probably. But this is a good time to have it. Again, keep in mind, this is a coat that wasn't even halter broke a few minutes ago. Look over. When he jumped into that, if you notice, it jumped into it and quit as far as it went. Back to our leading part again. And I barely got it set on there. I take up 1 notch at a time on a saddle on a coat like this. And that's about all you need to take up, is just 1 notch at a time. And if you take it, pull it down too tight, teach horse to lay down, because they will get away from it some way or another. He is fresh. Quit. As you see, he didn't like the saddle much. That's okay too. This is about as good a time as he'll ever have to learn about it. That was our reasoning for putting a good saddle on a coat. Because if you don't, he got that saddle underneath him, you would have made a real bad mistake with this coat. But instead, after he got through with his little fit, it's still there. It's not going anywhere. First started anything like this, any noise like this coat would have been bouncing off these preferred panels, but he's not. He's standing here now taking. You know, he's decided that every time he jumps, he runs into something. It's just Noavel. And when he jumps into it, it has him quit. And when we have him quit like that, he learns pretty quick that it's all right. It's going to be all right. Whatever we do, it's going to be all right. Whoa, go, whoa. And like I say, there's a lot of places he sure don't want you handling him. But he gets the exact same thing each and every time when he tries to leave me. And that's that bump. See, we show him that's the wrong thing to do. You know, he's not actually being mean, he's just trying to figure out what to do, what not to do. And if you don't have a means to show him wrong from right, he will probably learn the wrong thing. With this, you can actually teach him the right thing. And the right thing is to stand here and be nice. Go. I tried to catch him a little earlier. He tried to kick at me and stall. You know, and he's kind of wanted to do that. I think he kind of had that on his mind. That was part of his defense thing. And use one of these Noavel Headstalls, you can actually stop a lot of the kicking problems. Stop them all, really. If this colt did anything or offered to do anything to me, all I'd do is bump him. He left me. I didn't leave him. In other words, he had to turn away from me. And that's what we wanted him to do, is turn away from me, you know. And again, this just being a yearling, you know, we're not doing no whole lot to him, just kind of getting him accustomed to what we're doing, how we're doing it. And if you notice, he don't want me on this side, so we got to work on this just a little bit. But it's the same situation. You still hold him with one hand. And that's the big thing, is being able to control him. If you can hold him without hurting him, I mean, you can't tie him to a tree and hold him probably, but you know, that's not our principle of doing this thing. What we want to be able to do is to be able for him to understand that it's us doing it, he's got to take it. Like I say, he's just real leery of anybody anywhere right now. This right here is a very important part when you start riding him. Being able to handle him, being able to hold his head back where he wants to go. Very, very important thing that we're doing here. And we're getting him, we can actually get over here on this side of him and let him calm down a little bit. This particular lesson will stay with this horse from now on. It'll stay good or it'll stay bad. If you mess up at this particular point, he doesn't forget that either. So you know, you can't actually let him get away with anything. But if you notice, every time he tries to leave, I'm able to hold him with the end of my fingers. It does make a big difference. I held just a little bit of tension on him until he stopped. And when he stopped, I relaxed it. That's all I done. You know, he's starting to figure out that, you know, we're not going to hurt him. It's going to be all right. When you pull on this saddle, you're actually making it just a little snugger under the bottom, showing him what it is. And we want to be able to show him, in order to stand the pressure, kind of has to spread his legs out. This is a good time to teach him that. But he didn't want me over here at all a while ago, and now it doesn't seem to bother him quite that much. But if I hadn't had the Noavel on him right there, he would leave me. And he'd go elsewhere. And you know, this would be a bad thing, because then he'd probably jerk loose from him and have to go catch him. As it is, he didn't. He didn't get loose from us. Anything we try to do to him at this point, it all works on strictly the fact that we got control of his head. If you notice, I can turn him around, can lead him forward. And earlier we couldn't lead him. Now, I don't give up on him till he actually comes and touches me. I don't let him sit back there. I have him come on up. Once he comes and touches me, then it's a different deal. He's a little bit leery yet of anything going over his head. Of course, understandably, because like I say, he hadn't been handled just a little earlier. But again, we don't do anything to him that we'll let him walk away with. Try to get him used to every aspect that we're going to be doing to him a little later. Too young to ride, but we just want to step on him and show him that it's not the worst thing in the world. And it's not. If you notice, he's trying to straighten out and learn now that this is what we want of him. We'll go back to working a little more on our leading part. You really don't want to drag a horse around when you're leading him. You want him to follow you. And when he don't follow you, you've got to be able to do something to him without hurting him, but get his attention where he will follow you, where he'll do what you ask him to do. And so that's what we're doing now. We're getting him to the point that when he stays up here with me, nothing happens. When he gets back there, something does. And so as he learns to follow me, a lot of difference. Every now and then you always want to stop and give them the same little reward. Show them this is what you want, this is how you want it. You actually have to get yourself to the point that you don't settle for anything less than exactly what you want. And you turn out with a lot better horse in the long run, a whole lot better horse. This is going to make a good one. Again, just being a yearling, not doing no whole lot to him. See, I don't let up on him till he actually touches me. There, he touched me. When he touches me, then he comes to me instead of me going to him. And that's what we want. We want him each and every time to come to me. And he touches me again. Okay, and this gets him to where, you know, people will say their horse loves them. They do, you know, but they got to respect you first. They got to understand that you mean it. And when he stops out at that point, I just keep picking on him with the Noavel until he actually decides to come up and touch me, like that. That's very important for him to do that. Very, very important. Because if he don't, you start dragging him around instead of leading him around. And a horse like this, that's not a good thing to be doing. You can see it, he touches me in a few minutes. He should go where we ask him to. He's giving me a little fit right now, and this is a good thing because, you know, he's got to try me every now and then. And if you notice, the more he fights with me, I just keep bumping and pulling on him until he walks up and touches me, like that. That's where you get the point where you go in the stall, like we talked earlier. This colt wanted to kick at you, you know, and if you teach him to come to you, then it's a different story. There he is. All he's got to do is just touch me at the end of his nose, and then he figures out that's as far as I want him to go. Come here. He's giving me another little try or two. There we go. Each and every time, now if I just quit him at that point, I'm going to mess him up. I never give up on him until he steps forward enough to touch me, right there. I don't want him pushing on me, but I just want him to touch me. If he pushes on me, then we fix that also. But we don't have to do that. See, that time he did it without me doing anything. And that's what we wanted him to do. He come to me on his own. So we're getting there. We're starting to get through. He's a smart colt. He's figuring out exactly what we want of him. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's going to try us occasionally. Again, if you'll remember, the worst fear he had was that rope he's walking over right now. And the rope started to get to where it doesn't bother him now. That's not a big concern of his. So we got to get him over that particular part, and I believe we have. Each and every time I go, I have him intentionally step over this rope. So that's one of the things, like I said, that really scared him up bad. Each and every time he does it right, nothing happens to him. Absolutely nothing happens to him. When he does it wrong, he gets bumped. I believe he's starting to figure that fact out. So we're going to turn him loose here in a minute after we get it sure enough figured out what to do. Now he stopped on me again, so we got to give him another little session. There we are. Horse would rather respect you, really, than to run over you. If you show them to start with what you want and how you want it, they really have. They'd rather respect you. And you got a whole lot better horse. You've got a safe horse. That's the big thing. And if you've noticed, this colt has really give us a try, but he's not hurt himself. We've kept him safe. We've stayed safe. And that's a big plus in this business. You've got to go through to the next one and make sure you've got takes to do the next one and have something that really will fit in for you. And again, as we talked about earlier, you know, we hope to get this colt where we didn't have to drag him. And I don't believe we are now. Doing all that on his own now. All of that is done because he remembers what we've taught him, what we've shown him to do, and how we've shown him to do it. And again, keep in mind, he comes back and puts me in the same spot each and every time. And that's where we want him. I don't have to walk to him, he walks to me. Big difference, you know, and if you take the horse and you go on with him now, you'll find out he'll be a horse that'll make you a good horse. He's a good quality horse. He's the type of horse that you'd like to have. We went a lot further with him than just halter breaking. And if you watch him, I mean, he's learned a lot more things than just halter breaking. But he's learned them quite well. And again, there he is. And when he comes up to me, he stops. He stands here. He doesn't try to get nervous, shaky, and have fits or anything like that. Instead, he stands here very calm, very quiet. And that's where we want him. That's how we want him to do it. But each and every time I walk away from him, I don't scare him away from me. But he comes back. This is where we was hoping to get to with this colt. We wanted him just to get to the part where he handles good and we can kind of do something with him. If you notice, I'm not touching anything about him right now. You know, nothing about him. We're just leaning against him, taking it pretty easy. And he works. You know, it works on him. Hey. Hey. Oh. Hey. Had a little lapse of memory there, didn't you? Come here. Hey. When one gets to that point, all it takes to get them back usually is just a little bump. They can either bump themselves or you can go up and bump them. Either way. He's back. Not to say a colt will not have to have a lot more teachings and a lot more lessons, because they do. We don't pretend we've done everything with this colt, but we've got him quite a ways. And as long as we can get him to this point, the next step will be a whole lot easier. This is Rick Wheat. We appreciate you watching. Try our Noavel Headstall, see what you think. I think you'll like it. Your horse will sure like it. You notice we've not hurt this colt in any shape, form, or fashion. Nothing's in his mouth. Nothing's hurt him in any way. Appreciate you watching.
See if he'll fall with a real loose rein.
Reach up there and throw it around his neck. Just ease it over his neck, you know, he's still a little bit stumpy of that. Now if you will, then run it right back through the loop on this side. There you go. Pull it down a little bit more. Tighten it up just a little bit more. There you go. You got it, babe. You got him. You got his mind now. You don't have to touch the thing. This is the part that we want to get to with our horses. And this colt, I'm not sure, we've probably worked an hour maybe. Would you say that's about right? About an hour with him. But you know, the situation is, if you notice, the colt's calm, quiet, and she's following her around. Would not lead earlier. Would not take a step. Wouldn't let you touch it. Couldn't catch it. Wouldn't let you touch it at all. And now it's following her around like a puppy dog. We haven't hurt him. In fact, he's better off now than he was a while ago. And each and every time she stops, if you notice, he comes up close enough so that she can actually pet him and rub him. But she's actually not having to do anything to him at all, other than just be herself.
He's never been able to have hugs since he was weaned at 3 months of age.
Well, he likes it now. And all you got to do is just walk away, and the colt will stay right with you. And this is, whenever you get one halter broke in this manner, it will be halter broke. And you can do what you want to do with it. Not saying that it's finished. We're saying only that it has a real good start on it. And so what we're doing here, we're showing the colt that no matter who's out at the end of that lead rope, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because, I mean, she can absolutely control this horse in any shape, form, or fashion. He's not used to 2 people being in the ring, and he thought about coming to me instead. But all she had to do is just show him. And she was a little bit reluctant on actually leading him, but she's not really leading him. All she's doing is walking away. Now, he's quick, you know, Ellen, so you're going to have to go back. Now, stop right there. There you go.
Oh my God.
See, once they learn where you're at, what you're doing, then no longer do you have to go to them, they will come to you. This is a safety issue. And the reason we want to do this is when you go in the stall, instead of it turning around trying to kick at you and stuff like this, instead the horse will come to you. If you walk away, then the horse will walk away with you. Now, Mary Ellen, if you will, just turn and go the other direction now. And just kind of give it a little warning that you're going. Because it's still a baby and it's still thinking about other things. That's all you got to do, just give it a little warning and show it which way. If you notice how the colt's walking behind her, it's walking along, every time it does anything wrong, it bumps itself. And when it bumps itself, it comes back to that same position with her. Now just stop for a second, put out your hand. So you got it. It's there with you. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, the colt will stay with you. And so, that being one factor of the Noavel Headstall, and the fact that it made her smile, that's one of the biggest things. Keep in mind what we're doing here and how we're doing it. And we've kept the horse safe, Mary Ellen's safe, I'm safe, everybody's safe. The colt hadn't run into any panels and cut a chunk out of it. We haven't tore it up, we haven't hurt a foot. Hadn't done none of those things. Instead, the colt is calm, it's quiet, it's riding, you know. So if you keep the right equipment, if you get the right equipment, you'll find out with a little patience and the right equipment, you can get your horse doing what you want. Mary Ellen, thank you very much,
Oh,
darling.
thank you.